Russian troops launched 53 missile strikes and 11 air strikes on Ukraine during the day on the 24th of June and carried out more than 30 attacks using multiple launch rocket systems, with 10 combat clashes taking place. Source: General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine on Facebook. Information is of 1800 on the 24th of June. Details: According to updated information, over the course of the day, Russian forces launched a missile strike on the territory of Ukraine using 40 Kh-101, Kh-555 cruise missiles, 9 Kh-22 missiles, 2 Kalibr sea-based missiles, 2 S-300 anti-aircraft guided missiles and 3 Shahed attack drones. 40 Kh-101, Kh-555 cruise missiles, 1 Kalibr cruise missile and 3 Shahed attack drones were destroyed by air defense assets and personnel from the Ukrainian Air Force. Russian terrorists targeted Kh-22 missiles on the cities of Dnipro and Kryvyi Rih. Unfortunately, there are dead and injured civilians as a result of the Russian terrorist attack, including children with moderate injuries, and dozens of private residential buildings, civilian outbuildings, other infrastructure facilities and more than 50 private civilian cars have been completely destroyed or damaged. In total, over the course of the day, Russians launched 53 missile strikes and 11 air strikes. They carried out more than 30 attacks using multiple launch rocket systems. Russia continues to focus its main efforts on the Lyman, Avdiivka and Marinka fronts. A total of 10 combat engagements occurred between Russian and Ukrainian forces over the course of the day. The operational situation on the Volyn and Polishcha fronts remains much the same as before. On the Severshchina and Slobozhenshchina fronts, Russians carried out mortar and artillery attacks on the settlements of Holohanivka in Chernihiv Oblast, Novovasilivka, Chuikivka, Fotovizh in Sumy Oblast, as well as Okup, Chervona Zorya, Veterinarn, Pilna, Kozaka Lopan, Ohertsev, Hatish, Bochkov, Budarki and Chuhunivka in Kharkiv Oblast. On the Kupiansk front, Russian forces conducted offensive operations in the vicinity of Berestov, but were unsuccessful. Russians deployed artillery and mortars to fire on Krasny Persh, Fyholivka, Vorokna, Mashutivka, Kyslivka and Berestov in Kharkiv Oblast. On the Lyman front, Russian forces conducted unsuccessful offensive operations near Vesel. They conducted air strikes in the vicinity of Bilohorivka in Luhansk Oblast. Nevsky, Bilohorivka in Luhansk Oblast and Torsky, Serebryanka, Verkhnekamiansk, Spern and Rozdalivka in Donetsk Oblast came under Russian artillery fire. On the Bakhmut front, Russians conducted unsuccessful offensive operations in the vicinity of Ivanovsky. The settlements of Vashukivka, Minkivka, Orikovo-Vasilivka, Bodanivka, Chasev Yar, Ivanovsky, Ozaryanivka and New York in Donetsk Oblast were affected by Russian artillery fire. On the Avdiivka front, Russian forces carried out airstrikes near Avdiivka and Severin. Settlements of Novoalexandrivka, Karamek, Novokolinov, Avdiivka, Severin, Vodian, Uminsk, Vesel, Karlivka, Pervomaysk and Nevelsky in Donetsk Oblast came under Russian artillery fire. On the Marinka front, Russians conducted unsuccessful offensive operations near Marinka. At the same time, settlements of Krasnohorivka, Marinka, Pobeda, Heorhivka, Kurakov and Oleksivka in Donetsk Oblast came under Russian fire. On the Shakhtarsk front, Russian forces conducted airstrikes in the areas of Prekostivka, Zolotaniva and Makarivka in Donetsk Oblast. They also shelled the settlements of Katarinivka, Bowaavlenka, Novomikhailivka, Lahodatna, Vuhledar, Prekostivka, Zolotaniva and Novokranka Donetsk Oblast. On the Zaporizhia and Kherson fronts, Russians are on the defensive and are focusing their main efforts on preventing the advance of Ukrainian troops. They carried out airstrikes near Orikhiv, Novodanilivka, and Robotyne in Zaporizhia Oblast. About 40 settlements were affected by Russian artillery fire. Among them were Novodorivka, Lavadna, Poltavka, Zaliznikny, Huliaipol, Huliaipilsky, Charivny, Bilahiria, Orikhiv, Primorsk in Zaporizhia Oblast, Nikopol in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, in Dubchiny, Berislav, Vesel, Kozatsky, Injunern, Antonivka, Zelenivka, Bilozerka, Dniprovsky and Kizimys in Kherson Oblast. The Russian occupying army continues to rob the civilian population in the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine. For example, in the cooperative dacha community between the settlements of Luhivka and Fabritny, Russian servicemen are stealing property and personal belongings from the houses of local residents en masse. A dacha is a sort of a summer house, usually with a little plot of land where people grow vegetables, fruit trees and berries, or keep a garden. A cooperative dacha community is an association of persons, each of whom has a dacha plot within the same territory, ed. During the past 24 hours, Ukrainian aircraft carried out 18 airstrikes on areas where Russian military personnel were concentrated and hit a Russian anti-aircraft defense system. Ukraine's rocket forces and artillery struck one Strela anti-aircraft missile system, 3 areas where Russian personnel and military equipment were concentrated, 12 guns at their firing positions and 2 electronic warfare stations. The General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces reported on June 24 that Russia has lost 223,910 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of its full-scale invasion, with an estimated 580 casualties on June 23. General Staff. Russia launches 11 airstrikes on Ukraine in past 24 hours. The Kyiv Independent News Desk. June 25, 2023, 1:32 a.m. Russian forces launched 53 missiles at Ukraine over the past 24 hours, the General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces reported on June 24. According to the General Staff, Russian forces used 40 Kh-101 Kh-555 cruise missiles, 9 Kh-22 missiles, 2 Kalibr missiles, 2 S-300 anti-aircraft guided missiles and 3 Iranian Shahed kamikaze drones. Ukraine's air defense shot down 40 Kh-101 Kh-555 cruise missiles, 1 Kalibr cruise missile and 3 drones. 3 civilians were killed in a Russian attack on the capital on June 24 that caused a fire in a residential building, with 8 more injured, according to local authorities. Russia launched more than 20 missiles at Kyiv and the surrounding oblast in its 8th attack on the capital this month, according to head of the Kyiv City Military Administration Serhiy Popko. Missile debris shot down by the city's air defenses hit a 24-story apartment building in Kyiv's western Solomyansky district, causing a fire to break out on the 16th, 17th, and 18th floors, the Kyiv City Military Administration reported on Telegram. On the front line, the heaviest concentrations of fighting between Ukrainian and Russian forces continue in the areas near Lyman, Bakhmut, Avdiivka, and Marinka. There were 10 frontline clashes over the past 24 hours, the General Staff wrote. Ukrainian forces conducted 18 airstrikes on concentrated areas of Russian military personnel and destroyed 1 Russian anti-aircraft missile complex.